Hi, my name is Denis Prue. The purpose of this demo is to show you how the service portal report module works. And here's an application that we built for one customer. So if we go to Report tab, we can generate reports for this customer. And basically it's using the 5620 SAM and the network architecture of this customer. And as you can see, this customer has about 12 different types of reports. So we're going to pick the first one, the CPU and memory utilization summary. You can select a start date and an end date where the statistics have been collected to run this report against. And you can select the router that you want to run the report on. And we're going to pick 229 and 250. And we hit submit. And now we can generate the report for those routers. As you can see, the PDF file report gets downloaded to the laptop on the customer site, and you can save this report, which happens to be a one-page report here showing you the CPU use and how much memory is used for those two given nodes. It tells you the date, start date and end date, when the report was generated. Now let's pick a different one. Let's pick the CPU and memory utilization per node. Same idea, we select the start date and end date, and you would select the routers that you want to run this report against. So we'll pick the same two routers where I know there's data being collected right now, and we hit submit, select, and now basically you can generate the report, but you can also generate the reports at different granularity that you want, raw data, or you can have hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly. We generate the reports automatically and the report gets downloaded. You open the report, it shows you the CPU memory utilization per node, the date, and so you the CPU here, and it's actually at that, this is the scalability of it, so from 0 to 1 hour per hour. The memory utilization is over here per hour also, and you got the raw data here that's collected every 15 minutes from the 5620 SAM and stored in the service portal database. This report happens to be 10-page long for the time window, start date, and end date we have given. Now let's pick a different one. The internode dual latency and jitter is a nice report where you can report if there's any packet loss in your network between the routers for a given time. So in this case here, we're going to select all the routers because we want to know what is the interlatency between all those routers and see if there's any issues in the network. When I hit submit, it collects all the data and you're ready to generate the report. When it generates the report, it also looks at the threshold values. So if it exceeds double whatever the number of latency, so double 11,000 is 22,000, here we're at 25, it will color the field orange, giving you a warning that the latency has doubled. If it really exceeds the threshold as packet loss here, as you can see, then it's colored in red. When it's not colored, then everything is okay and there's nothing to do. So the idea here is you shouldn't have any colors in this report at all if you have a good network, well designed. As you can see, this report is 8-page long, so it shows you all the latency between all the routers. Let's do a different report here. So we'll pick the next one. The next one is a service count per node. So you can select the router. I'm going to select all there. So give me all the service count for all the nodes. And I'm going to hit submit. And when you hit generate, it will go and count all the service counts on every node and generate a PDF report, and you can see a nice report. Now what's interesting here, shows you all the node types, the 7210, 7750, 7705, Omni switch, and you get the number of services on those boxes that have been already created using the service portal or the SAM. This report is 2-page long. Also gives you at the top here a nice pie chart showing you the percentage top 6 that are used, services that are used in the network. Next report is the service count per customer. So you can select the customer and you can see all the services belong to that customer. In this case here, I'll pick 123 Nancy. Hit submit, and the report gets generated. When you hit the generate report button, download it to your laptop, using the World Wide Web, and you have a nice service count per customer. So this customer has 46 services, and these are different types of services that the customer has in the report. Next one is the SAP count per access port. You can select the router. We'll select 229. It's select, generate report. So the SAP count report will count on a per port type. Will show you how many services there are on a given port. This report is 4-page long, so it reports on all the ports for that given router and how many services are on each port. Next one here is the node outage. Here I think is there won't be any node outage for this network here, but if there was one, then the report here would show the data in the report. So the report should be blank here, so open outage none, close outage none. If there were some node outage, it would show up here in this report. Book bandwidth per node, network ports. So you want to know how much book bandwidth there is per network ports on a per node. So you select the router. In this case here I can select all. I'll select all routers. So I want to see all the book bandwidth per node on the network ports. You hit submit. And the data has been selected. You generate the report. And now you have a nice PDF report on the book bandwidth per node. As you can see, it's 4-page long at the top here. So you scroll down, it gives you a nice report telling you the average book ingress bandwidth per forwarding class. So you can see how much bandwidth is booked on a given forwarding class on a network port. And then you get all the raw data. So on a per node basis, it'll tell you the total of all the bandwidth that's committed, and also as per forwarding class, how much traffic is booked on the network ports. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is the SAM service statistics. You can specify a threshold, so color things orange if it exceeds 50, or color it red if it exceeds 80, and then you can generate the report. You open the report, and now things are colored. So the memory utilization free is above the 50 threshold here, so it's colored red in this case here, and the other ones are all okay as per the data that's shown here. And it tells you also per MDA how much utilization there is. Next one is the SLA service uptime. You can select a start date and an end date. It will tell you if the service was impacted. So here I'll try to find a service here. I don't think this is a lab here, so it may be hard to find a service. So let me pick this one here. It might show 0 if it's not enabled in the network. That'd be fine. It shows the reports anyways. So basically the SLA service uptime, it tells you the service here from that date to that date, and it's partially down, so in that lab network, but the service uptime is 0, so the calculation. In the real network, it would show you all the outage events and so on, how much percentage up there is for that service. If there was a maintenance windows, it would take that into account and subtract that from the service uptime calculation. Next one here is the book bandwidth virtual actual traffic per network port. So how much is booked and how much traffic is actually flowing. So same idea, we'll put a threshold, see if we can get any colors there popping up. And you would select a router. And I'll pick 250 here. And I will generate the report on 250. Generate the report. Open it. Book bandwidth versus actual traffic. Always look how many pages is there. It's 4 pages, so the data happens to be here. So it shows you all the forwarding classes and how much ingress bandwidth and versus book bandwidth that's running on those network ports. So here's the actual traffic. So depending if there's traffic generated in the network or not, how much is booked, total ingress, all forwarding class, and then you have a per forwarding class traffic summary. Nice report showing ingress and egress. Next one is the book bandwidth versus actual traffic per SAP. And this one here, I'll pick 5080. Select the customer. Yeah, the only problem here is my network is probably not set up properly. I don't know what's enabled, what's not enabled for monitoring. So I'll just pick anything. And let's see what it gives me. This one may not be enabled right now. Okay, so it's 17 pages. This is the data. So when there is data, it's because we're collecting the data. If there is no data, it's probably because it has not been enabled, the statistics collection on it. But you see the egress has been enabled. And it shows you all the data it's collected. So when it's blank, it's probably because you're not collecting the data from the 5620 SAM. So it has to be enabled on the 5620 SAM for each SAP and forwarding class and lower forwarding class and so on. The ones you see the data is because we're collecting it and it happens to be 0. So once you enable everything, this report becomes very useful and shows you how much book and actual traffic is flowing on that network. That concludes a quick demo, just showing you what you can do. This is the standard. Some of the standard reports are part of the report module. And this was an example of one we built for one customer. This customer happens to be doing a bit more, like he does services creation, different types of services. So if we go here to service, you can do service creation, customers, network, 72 nodes, attach them to 10s to 7750s and so on, troubleshoot service network elements and so on. That concludes the demo. Thank you very much.